Morning, everyone, and welcome to Making Your Wishes Known. Kristina Grasso from Cornerstone Hospice is here to tell us more about this Advance Directive alternative that you can use. Just a couple announcements before we do start. We are hosting our business after hours this evening at Lake Catherine Farms. It's sponsored by the Kristen Jameson Mortgage Team and Concierge Title, so we hope to see you there. Next week, we will have Coffee with the Chamber on Monday at 9 a.m. And we will have our first Friday Chamber Connection over at Claremont Brewing Company starting at 7:30. That event is limited to 40 people, so please register in advance. And with that, Kristina, go ahead.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. As Amanda said, my name is Kristina Grasso. I'm with Cornerstone Hospice. I'm your local community liaison. So Cornerstone is your non-for-profit hospice. And what I'm going to share today is something that our social workers actually do with our patients and I get to do in the community, and that's advanced care directives. So I'll start with a quick statistic here. Can you believe 90% of people think doing their advanced directives is important? So that's good. That's majority of people. However, 27% of people only actually get it done. So it goes to show that while we do think it's very important, there's not many people who actually get it done. Most of the time, what we find in hospice and even just in the community in general with families is they wait until the very last moment. And it's actually when the family is in crisis and they have to make decisions very quickly. They have to kind of figure out what their loved one wanted. And what I come today to talk about is a way to get that just alleviated, to start talking about these things sooner and to realize that these conversations are normal. Because just as you plan for birthdays, weddings, anything like that, it's good to plan the end of your life as well and just have that as much, it's not a time you're ever in control, but as planned out as you can to make your family feel more secure and you keep your dignity. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to share. Before I go straight into the 5 wishes, which is the booklet that everyone can get for free. They're originally online for $5, but I'm able to hand them out for free because of this presentation today. But before I go into the booklet, I wanted to share an additional resource called the Conversation Project. So I'll share the screen and hopefully that will work here. So let's find it here. So this is an additional website that you guys can go on called theconversationproject.org. And what it does is it gives you starter kits to actually have that conversation and begin thinking about what's important to you and just thinking about who you would want to have these conversations with, how you would have them, what's the good way to have them. And honestly, people don't take the time to really think about what's important to them. We're so go, go, go. We want to work on our businesses. We want to help other people that sometimes ourselves are the very last things we think about. And the fact of the matter is car accidents happen every day and things happen every day that could leave us in a place where we're no longer in charge of what happens to us. And that's the reality of this. And although it requires vulnerability and authenticity, it's something that we can all start talking about earlier, talk about it with your doctors, hospitals, things like that, and then get something started. So this is a free workbook you can find online. I'm not sure what part of the screen you can see. But the workbook, What Matters to Me, you can click, you can go all over this website. It even talks about being prepared in the time of COVID-19 and all the different ways. The world's just changing and that we have to kind of adapt. So that's just a resource I wanted to give everyone to look on their own and kind of get that conversation started. And then what today I wanted to share is a booklet called 5 Wishes. So this booklet, I'm about to share it here, is something that can take the place of a living will, or in my opinion, it complements it. So they call it the living will with heart and soul because it looks at a person holistically. So it not only goes into the healthcare agent and the healthcare questions of what's important to you, but it also goes into who you are as a person, what kind of legacy you want to leave, and just those attributes that make you who you are that, again, we don't take the time to think about, or honestly, we just don't think of sharing with other people. So this is the very front of the page. And so you'll see we're going to go over 5 different topics here. So the first one is the person you want to make care decisions for you when you can no longer speak, the kind of medical treatment you want or don't want, how comfortable you want to be, how you want people to treat you, and what you want your loved ones to know. And the one thing I will start with this is that it is completely customizable. And that is something that I love, that it doesn't have to be written in lawyer terms, for lack of a better word, but it can completely just be individualized to you and what's important to you and how you would write things. And a man named Jim Towie at a hospice. The crisis that family members were in during this time where people didn't really have this stuff figured out and individuals' wishes weren't known. So this book was put together by lawyers, and it says the American Bar Association's Commission on Law and Aging, because they wanted to work with doctors and healthcare people to do something that would encompass everything. So it is legal in, I believe it was about 49 states, it'll say here. 42 states here. So Florida is included in one of them, and that's a good thing too. So even if you switch states, your book would still be valid. But yeah, so it's just a book, and it's been featured on NBC, Time and Money magazine. So like I said before, it's a living will with a heart and soul, and it's available in 27 languages. So it's something anyone can use. So moving forward, it has here, how do you change to 5 wishes? So if you decide not to just make this a compliment thing that you give your family members, you can actually destroy all copies of your old living will or durable power of attorney for healthcare, or you can write revoked in large letters across the copy that you have. And you also would make sure to update your healthcare agent, your family members, your doctors, anyone that you filled out something new, and that is your newest and most updated version. So moving forward with Wish 1, it's pretty much your healthcare agent. So here you would designate the person that you want to be in charge to make decisions for you when you can no longer make them for yourself. So the one thing we do say, it is better if you do not ask anyone that is connected with your healthcare provider, so including the owner or operator of a health or residential or community care facility, an employee or spouse of an employee of your healthcare provider, or anyone serving as an agent or proxy for 10 or more people. So a lot of the times people will do their spouses, they'll do their children, anyone that they really trust to carry out their wishes. And one thing we say too is sometimes you feel like, okay, it has to be my kids or it has to be this person, but really take the time to think about who would honor your wishes most. And that could be your very best friend, opposed to your child or your spouse. So we just really let people choose who they can see doing this. And so it gives you the choice for up to 3 people. So you fill that in here. And then the cool part about it is on the next page, you can actually specify how much power you want this person to have and what you want them to be able to do for you. So a few of those can be overall making choices about your medical care and services, about your tests, medicine, surgery, if they can donate your organs, if you want them to be able to move you to another state. So again, most of the time you pick a healthcare agent and you just assume they have all this power, and this booklet gives you a way to kind of see how much power they actually have and how much you want to give them. So if you don't agree with anything here, it says please cross it out. You can also write specifics if there's anything that you personally think of, but it lets you be in charge and keep the dignity of how much power you want this person to have. And you can change it at any time as well, in which case you would just notify everyone that you're changing it, make sure you have a brand new copy, and move on from there. So that's kind of all for that one. And then again, too, you can destroy this copy if you add someone else. Make sure you tell people, write the word revoked, and that will be done for you. So moving on, Wish 2 is the wish for the kind of medical treatment you want or don't want. With this, it says, I believe that my life is precious and I deserve to be treated with dignity. When the time comes and I'm very sick and not able to speak for myself, I want the following wishes and any other directions I have given to my healthcare agent to be respected and followed. And again, this is where a person can really specify what life support means for them and under what conditions they want that. And again, this is not something we want to think about. This isn't something, even when I first started, I was filling out this for myself. And sometimes I still don't know what I want, but it's all about getting that conversation started because it is good for your family members to have this. So you get to write exactly here. It gives you the lines to say what life support means to you. It goes into a DNR, a little bit about that. And then scrolling down on the next, it gives you 4 situations that you can typically or sometimes find yourself in. So it says, again, if you were close to death, if you had permanent and severe brain damage, not expected to recover. I mean, it really goes into it. And again, we don't want to think about these things, but it's so important to fill it out and to know what's important to you and what you would want happen to you so that you can still have that dignity that's so important to you and just what makes you you. So again, you would check anything here, and you can also add in if there's anything not listed here that you want to add in. Always feel free. I tell people to add whatever they want in. If there's a certain circumstance where, okay, I want this, but not if this happens, write it down. The one thing I say is you cannot write too much down for these booklets. So the last one too, they always give you the lines at the bottom to continue writing down any other thing that you think about, because they want you to have as much room as possible to go into this stuff. So what I like about the next 3 wishes is they deal with your personal, spiritual, and emotional wishes. So it says you want to be treated with dignity near the end of your life. So you want people to do the things written in wishes 3, 4, and 5 when they can be done. But it does state, I understand that my family, my doctors, and other healthcare providers, my friends, and others may not be able to do these things and are not required by law to do these things. I do not expect the following wishes to place new or added legal duties on my doctors or other healthcare providers. I also do not expect these wishes to excuse my doctor or other healthcare providers from giving me the proper care asked for by law. And so wish 3 is how comfortable you want to be. So again, you cross anything you don't agree with. And this is where I tell people, really think about what makes you you. So for myself example, the one that sticks out to me the most is I have chronic dry lips. So one huge thing, if I couldn't talk, I want people to know, okay, always make sure this girl has chapstick. Because I may not be able to tell you that my lips are driving me crazy, but if you know that about me, you're going to make sure to do something like that. And I almost say it's funny too, when my grandparents are in the hospital, it's funny because my grandpa does not want his teeth in under any circumstances. But when my grandma is in the hospital or anything's going on, she always wants to make sure her hair's done. So people's wishes are really at the end of the spectrum with what's important to them and what makes them feel better all around, because you always want to make sure to really look at the person that you're dealing with and not just, another patient if you're in the healthcare community, or even just thinking you know someone and realizing, wow, I didn't know this about them. So another thing it says here is, one here is, I wish to have my favorite music played when possible until the time of my death. This is where I encourage people to write down what that music is, because you can say that, and then if you have a specific playlist or songs or an artist that means a lot to you, that whoever's reading this, they may not know that. So again, more information is good information. About religious readings and well-loved poems, write those down. Give everyone exactly what you want. So that's a good one too. I mean, some of them, I wish to have warm baths and massage with warm oils. It's something we all want pretty much. And again, just kind of putting that out there. And another one too is, I do not want to be in pain. I want my doctor to give me enough medicine to relieve my pain, even if it means I will be drowsy or sleep more than I would otherwise. And this is something we have happen with hospice all the time, of choosing how alert people want to be. Some people, they just want to get rid of all the pain. They understand that they're going to be drowsy. Other people, I want to be able to talk to my family. So make sure, not to give me too much of something. And that's something that you have to address the person and what they want individually. So 4, your wish for how you want people to treat you. And again, you would assume, a lot of people assume like towards the end of someone's death or anything, they want all the people around them. But again, you have to take into fact who that person is. And if they really liked being alone most of their life, that might not change as they're getting older, as they're getting closer to dying, and kind of thinking about these things. You wish to have your hand held or be talked to when possible, even if you don't respond. You wish to have others by your side praying. I wish to have the members of your faith when I'm sick and asked to pray for me. So again, write down what church you go to, or even if it's some of the people in your chamber or your very best friends, write that down in here so that if your family from out of state or someone else reads this, they know exactly who to call to keep them informed with what's going on with you. You wish to have pictures of your loved ones. You wish for your clothes and bed linens to be kept clean, for them to be changed as soon as possible. And then if you want to die in your home, if that can be done. So again, that's something we do with hospice, but there are people who want to make sure not to die at home. And it's honestly taking time to think about the things that we don't want to think about, or we just don't think about. So wish 5 is your wish for what you want your loved ones to know. And this is an area that I say can really be near and dear for family members. Because if you think about it, when it's someone's last days, or even if a family member just passed away, it may seem simple for someone to say, I wish to be forgiven for the times I have hurt my family, friends, and others, or I wish to have them know I love them. But if you're a family member reading this and seeing your loved one took the time to fill this out, it would just touch your heart differently. And that's something I really encourage people, is to take this part seriously. And, you know, some people need to know that you did not fear death itself, and you want your family members to make peace with each other, because again, during this time, it can be some of the most stressful times. And I've seen families break apart because of this very thing. And that's something that we want to avoid at all costs. So that's a little bit about that section. Then it also gives you, if you want to be buried or cremated, where you want your body to be, who knows your funeral wishes. And then the last part is basically the legacy you want to leave, what you want people to say about you, what you want your memorial service to be like. And then any other thing at all you can think about will go in this section of, if you want to designate a charity to get your contributions, anything. It even encourages you to put a separate sheet of paper if you want. So that really is majority of the book. And then it gives you a whole signing area. And then you just need 2 witnesses. You do not need a notary, because we are in the state of Florida, so that's something. And we want to encourage people to, they give you a little wallet thing I'm trying to get to here, to put it in your wallet, to know exactly where you put this. We don't recommend keeping it at a bank or somewhere where you can't get it 24 hours a day, but make copies of it. Give it to the hospital, give it to your best friend, give it to your family members, and make sure that they have this, and that you have the card in your wallet and you know exactly where all of it is, because it's better to be prepared than to be like, oh yeah, I had it sitting in my office, but I never filled it out. So I just to fill this out, to really get talking about these things, because it is important and it does help families. And this is just another way in the community that I like to get people to talking about this. And again, these books are completely free from Cornerstone Hospice. We are able to give them out for free because we do these presentations. But if not, it's put together by Aging with Dignity, and they are $5 online as well. So that is an option. And the other website I mentioned was theconversationproject.org. Highly, highly recommend that. And we have many other resources to get people to start talking about this necessary stuff and just to walk them through it. So I appreciate you guys all for listening today. I also do have a facts and questions, the FAQ pages for you all, if anyone wants any of that, and I can give anyone else any other information they have. But again, I appreciate you all taking interest in coming to listen to this today, and I look forward to you guys filling out your 5 wishes.
Thank you, Kristina. If people were interested in getting the book from you, how would they do that?
Yeah, so I can leave some with you guys at the chamber, but they can also just call me. My number is 352-901-0380, or they can email me at kgrasso, grasso, @cshospice.org.
Great.